Today I want to get into RM saying that he is done over all the hate recently, and Jimin is believed to have reacted to a lot of the hate comments towards his live voice. And then we have Jimin ending trending on Twitter. So hey dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, he's spilling mug merch, and let's go. Jimin's solo has been doing very well, and I'm extremely happy for him. He has been breaking records with his new album and getting a lot of high records with his new song Set Me Free Part 2 and Like Crazy. Of course, there's been some hate and backlash, but we will get into those things later. Right now, I want to get into some of the positives. Jimin just posted on his Instagram account a screenshot to show Like Crazy actually being the #1 on Billboard. This is a huge, big deal because it took a little bit before BTS was even able to score a #1 on Billboard. And I think Jimin is actually the first solo artist out of BTS to have gotten that #1 on Billboard. The song is extremely catchy, and it's no wonder that it would have done so well. The song overtook a lot of the other trendy artists right now, including Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and The Weeknd. So when Jimin posted this, of course, the other members came out of the hiding and made sure to acknowledge Jimin's huge accomplishment and congratulate him. Both RM and J-Hope left some emojis to show their love. Twitter immediately got the news and began trending ended BTS and Jimin ended K-pop. The ending BTS trend was supposed to be Jimin ending BTS, and it's supposed to be a joke since Jimin overtook BTS's #1 spot and had superseded BTS's record, and a similar reason for those who say Jimin ended K-pop. And I want to make this clear that Jimin isn't more specifically popular than Jin, J-Hope, or RM, because I know there will be a lot of Jimin solo fans that will say that Jimin is better, but one of the main reasons Jimin got a #1 on Billboard is because his song was meant to be played in the US market. As you can tell, Jimin had done a lot and mostly US promotion for his album. And then J-Hope and RM, while there were lots of English in their music, the songs were not pop and not specifically meant for the US market. However, with that said, J-Hope and RM still managed to overtake some of the Billboard spots with Indigo and Jack in the Box. But back to Jimin, Jimin didn't only leave a message on Instagram to say that he loves everyone, but he went ahead and also wrote a one-word thing on Weverse. He wrote something that was believed to be the equivalent of wow in Korean. Hobie replied with a bunch of fire heart emojis, and Suga replied to say that Jimin is such a cool guy for getting the #1 Billboard. This is a huge deal and a huge deal for K-pop. I think this would encourage radio stations to play a lot more K-pop in the future and also bring the American market to be used to hearing K-pop on the radio. There's two things that turn off radio listeners from listening to K-pop, and it's the lack of understanding the lyrics and the ignorant belief the music is quote-unquote North Korean propaganda and they're coming to take over the US. But once they realize how ridiculous they sound when they say things like that, and that it won't happen, they can finally relax and realize it's just music. And by the way, North Korean pop sounds terrible, so it's definitely not North Korean pop. I think before BTS was as big in the US, there was definitely a lot of racist hate going on. And while that definitely sucked, and it's not fun to hear as a fellow Asian person myself, that type of hate makes sense to me as we live in a kind of racist world. But recently, I think a couple of people who had idolized BTS and the boys realized that the boys are human and that they will do human things. But those people are not happy over that idea. If you aren't aware, the boys have been very much themselves lately. Since they are releasing solo music, it would feel almost disingenuous to pretend to be somewhere they're not. Whereas they were in a group together, it was a good idea for every single member to play a bit of a character to fill out the image of BTS, if that makes sense. So each person would play up a side of themselves to fit the narrative of BTS. Now that doesn't mean they were fake, but boy bands do this all the time. And each member obviously can't do things like make their own music or go a different style because it doesn't fit the branding of the group. Whereas now that they're solo, they can fit their own personality a bit more. So I say this because if you love the boys before but hate them now, then you are not loving them because you only loved what they were allowed to show being a part of a group. And that's only a small part of them. The boys still do what they had always done, which is hop on a live stream to say hi every once in a while and send love to ARMYs, so they haven't changed. But why am I saying all this? Well, recently RM jumped on a stream and was talking about how busy he has been and what he's been up to. And of course, update us on his military status. He was also trying to read the comments, which was what all the boys do to try to connect with ARMY and answer any questions. RM read out loud a comment that said something along the lines of, "You guys have changed." RM continued to say maybe it's best to do the stream without reading the comments. This was RM's way of saying that he was done with reading the comments. Of course, this upset ARMYs not because everyone blamed RM for having this reaction, but because there were people saying things that were upsetting to the boys. Weverse or live streaming used to be a place where haters just didn't come by. It would be a moment with just the closest of ARMYs and BTS members. If an alleged ARMY was the one who had written this, I could totally see that it would bother any BTS member to feel like they let a big fan down. But that's not a fan. Likely what this alleged fan was referring to was all the solo stuff like Jungkook taking a picture with Jay Park or J-Hope being in a video with Jay Park, the boys taking more shirtless selfies, and even the alleged rumors of BTS members dating. Now, every time I talk about these things not being a big deal, people like to look at it through the lens of K-pop. I want people to zoom out. If this was a coworker or a friend taking a picture with someone, or your coworker or friend dating, like, is this actually a big deal? Is this worth harassing someone over? The alleged change that someone could be talking about are very normal human things. It's like these people had a very weird image in their head about who the boys are. Like maybe some of these people spend a lot of time alone and expect that the BTS members did as well. But I think it's far beyond unrealistic to expect that literal world-class superstars and multi-millionaires to not have lives and not go out and do things. I think the boys are not only getting backlash for normal human things, but as a celebrity and performer that gets heavily documented, you're going to have moments that are not perfect. Every singer can sometimes sing off key or have moments where it's not their best. If you don't know what I am referring to, let me explain. Recently, Jimin did a performance on a show, M Countdown. He was doing an encore and he was asked to perform like crazy. I was surprised that he had him sing and the music played way before anyone had left the stage. But anyway, the music started to play and Jimin started to sing, and being 100% honest, it didn't sound great. He was a bit pitchy and it was off key. It became pretty clear that there were a lot of technical issues going on, and right at the beginning it appeared like Jimin didn't even want to keep singing because I don't think he could even hear the music. On a big stage like that, the speakers are faced towards the audience. You maybe can feel the bass on the stage, but hearing the music is hard with the crowd. And again, the speakers are away from you. So a singer without in-ears is literally performing deaf. And if you've ever tried to completely blare your headphones to the point where you can't hear yourself and sing, you'll quickly notice that it sounds quite bad, and quite honestly way worse than what Jimin did. In-ears will give back your voice right away, so you can hear if you're off key or not. Your brain will automatically correct yourself if you are off key as a singer. Just the same way, like if you're talking too loud at the library, you can hear that and lower your voice. And then for in-ears, there's things like a countdown, so 3, 2, 1 pre-chorus, 3, 2, 1 chorus, and so without all that, you are literally going in deaf. Jimin was ridiculed for this. So many people took it to the internet to say that Jimin cannot sing and that he is a bad vocalist or whatever. This is so stupid to say. Also, like, there's so many clips of Jimin singing really well, like a decade's worth. There's no shortage of those clips. I react to a bunch of those live performances on Patreon, so if you do want to check those out and fangirl with me, I will link the Patreon below. We have a limited $1 tier there if you're interested. But anywho, the network actually got a wind of how bad the Backlash got. They ended up taking down the specific footage of Jimin singing the encore. However, it's still up on social media. You can still find it, but it's not on their official page. It was then announced by SBS, which is a different network from M Countdown, which is Mnet, and SBS said that their show Inkigeo, that Jimin will not make a physical appearance, but the show will be airing a pre-recorded performance. Obviously, this does not help the rumors of people saying that Jimin couldn't sing, because the argument here is that if he could sing well, why not have him just do the performance rather than a pre-recorded one? The label allegedly confirmed that Jimin will not make an appearance like what was initially confirmed, but will just send in a tape. However, this could be because Jimin's schedule changed. It could be many things. And it all happened around the time this issue happened. And so it just looks like it's related, but it's not. And BTS's label did not mention the controversy, but said it was a scheduling issue. I'm not saying this 100% certain, but unless you're in the industry, a lot of people won't understand that when things happen, it happens all at once. Like you can do 5 different things, trend in or happen in at once, but then the celebrity is doing a sixth thing and doesn't have time to focus on those previous 5 things. You could be doing something else and then something you recorded 5 months ago gets released now, and you either get into a scandal with that or whatever, and oftentimes the artist might not even remember that thing they filmed months ago. Maybe then, alongside all this, something personal happens, like their pet dies or something. Like, when I say it gets crazy, trust me. And Jimin doesn't deserve this. People were saying that the company was trying to end his solo stuff and be done with it, but I don't think that is what is happening here. I think they would look at things like a Billboard #1 and realize that not only should Jimin continue his solo work, but probably should release another one. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.